everybody, Edos here, and this is Two Rooms and a Boom. This is designed by Gerding and McCoy and published by Tuesday Night Games. Now, the good folks at Tuesday Night Games sent me this copy, but the reality is I've had this for a long time. It was a running joke with them because it was sitting on, you can watch like 40 videos with it just sitting on the shelf behind me, because this game is for 6 to 30 players. And it's for 6 to 30 players with this idea that you need two separate spaces. They don't have to be hugely separate, but it's not the same game that you would maybe play like some of the spy games or Werewolf, where you could maybe do it around a table. You need a little bit more space. So I just couldn't get a gaming group together to do it, and it was just sort of sitting there. I was going to get to it. And so what ended up happening was I figured a con would be a good way to get some time, and I brought it to BGG-Con to get a bunch of play-ins to do the review, and it turns out Alan was there as well, so I had a really fun experience with this where, like Saturday night in the not the lobby, like in the elevator area, he just ran game after game after game, and I have to admit, he is quite a showman and really runs it well. Like, he's, really does a great job of splitting the teams, getting people the cards, explaining everything that was going on, and that really elevated the experience. I had a great time. I actually think, independent of that, I'd have a great time, but it really does help when you have somebody so excited and engaged. Let me tell you about it. This is a party game, right? So, again, that first thing is you got to have groups to do. But what's going on in Two Rooms in a Room? It's a very simple premise. You're going to split the group into two teams, the red team and the blue team, and there's some neutral colors and advanced things, but let's just stick to the core here. And there's the red team and the blue team. There are generic blue team cards, and there are generic red team cards somewhere in here, and these are sort of the baseline. The president, the government, and the terrorists. And so on the government side, you have these, and you have the president. So each player is going to get a card. It's nice because you have your card and you're going to use it in the game, and one player is going to have the president card. No one sees the card you get, so everyone's sort of secret identity across the board. No one knows who everyone is. On the red team, you have the red card, and you have the bomb. And the bomb's a player. It's a person with a bomb strapped on, I guess. And so what's going to happen is everyone gets a hidden identity. You're then split into two groups, and then within those groups, you start doing different types of reveals and conversations to figure out what group you are on, who's on your team, who the president is, and where the bomb is. The blue team wants the bomb and the president to end. You're going to play 3 rounds or 5 rounds, depending on what you pick. But at the end of all the rounds, to be in separate rooms. And the red team wants the bomb and the president to be in the same room. If that's the case, like the two people are in the same room, bomb goes off and the president dies. If they aren't in the same room, the bomb goes off and the president doesn't die. Though everyone else does, that's okay. So how do you exchange between rooms? Basically, there's a leader on each side. It gets nominated by the players. Somebody says, I'll be the leader, and like if there's a vote with a majority in the room, they can change the leader around. But then the leader is going to pick 1 or 2, depending on how many players or more, hostages to send over. So you've got these 2 rooms, and every round, like every 2 minutes, or it sort of counts down. So 5 minutes, 4 minutes, 3 minutes. But every round, the leaders come together, and then they'll exchange hostages. So you have this flow between the groups. This is a flow of information. This could be the bomb or the president moving. There's a lot of sophistication there. So once you start playing, everyone's essentially has their card, and they're sharing their information in different ways. You can show the bottom of the card and just show your team, but not your role, or you can show the whole card, and you can reveal publicly, or you can reveal in hiding, and it's all social, and you can trick people. But what ends up happening in the base game is you're just finding out who's on your team, you're trying to find the president, and trying to move him across. It gets more elaborate the more you introduce all these other roles. And I mean, there are a ton of them. You just pick and add them to the game, but they're just all sorts of different characters and character types. And they do different things. You might add, there's what do they call it? Koi boys, I think they're called, where you can't share or reveal your card because you're shy. So you can just, you just have to say no. There are people who can only share once they've been shared to. There are spies. The spies are really neat in that they're a spy, but they're on a blue card. So you'll show this and it says you're blue, but you're really the red spy and you win with the red team. So all sorts of cards that change the dynamic. Also cards that make it a little bit more complicated, like the president can have be sick and there be medicine. So you need to get the medicine in the same room as the president. And then on the engineer side, it might be that you need somebody to arm the bomb, and you need them together in the same room as well, and to know who each other are. So basically, you need the medicine guy to talk to the president, and you need the engineer to help the bomber guy. So it's a lot of deduction. It's pretty quick. Once the first game, everyone was sort of getting a feel for it, but by game 3, 4, 5, 6, it was rolling, and it works. It's a nice, different variant on the sort of werewolf experience. It moves pretty quick, and the more you play, I think the more some of those nuances come out, and as you add more cards into it, it works as well. So worth checking out. I like the form factor of their boxes. It feels like the right size for this type of experience, and again, there's just like, at this point with the game, there are just so many different roles and characters and things that twists and turns. It's got a lot of replayability, different people, different roles, all that stuff. The biggest, again, call out here is it's 6 to 30. And 6 is probably even a little low, right? We were playing probably with anywhere from 10 to one game maybe being up to 20. So big groups of people. So conventions, dinner parties, like really big sources. But if you want to have a couple games on your shelf, I've certainly enjoyed this, and I will be keeping it around for the couple times I probably end up having that scenario. But anyway, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. Most importantly, play some great games. Thanks.